So in 2000 I went to the States to study for 4 months. I studied American studies, history and politics, and during that time my friends went down to Florida and I went to New Orleans. Organised it with help of my teachers. I organised a flight, booked accommodation, and then this was my first experience of travelling alone. My third time in the States. I was 22 years old, totally blind, severely deaf, in a foreign city, very hot, very humid, didn't know where I was going, and took a taxi from the airport to accommodation, no problem. I asked for directions to go downtown, and I was told to go down the steps, turn left, walk 2 blocks, find a tram. And after a few panicking seconds of not knowing where I was and what to do, I thought, well, it's just like doing it in England. I turned left, walked 2 streets, asked someone where the tram was. Another person helped me on the tram. I went downtown, and this was really the start of my independent travels. So I've been travelling for the last 20 years. I've now visited 125 countries alone, getting help from the public, researching where I want to go by using a laptop with a speech software. New Zealand's my favourite country, but also Iceland, Argentina, Turkey, Indonesia. I like the people and the different terrains. I like being outdoors in the cold and experiencing the different nature, the sounds. And I'm able to use a speech software on my laptop called a screen reading software, and every time I press a key it speaks to me, so I can use the internet. I can put in websites like Lonely Planet or Wiki Travel and research the history and the culture, the places to visit of each country, each city, and then I book my accommodation online, and I get my friends or my mum to help me book flights. So this is the technology I use, and then I use a small digital device. It's basically I can put Word documents onto, so I record the information I want, the accommodation, the address, the phone number, and then I take public transport when I get to the airport. I've researched how to get from the airport in a foreign country to my accommodation, and then I ask people which bus I want or which train I want, and then I put all this information on this digital recorder so I can listen to it as I'm travelling. And the same, so I want to visit a famous church or cathedral or mosque or historical site, I have the name and I know how to get there by public transport, that I can listen to all as I'm travelling. And that's how I travel, and then I use the public to help me and assist me to get from place to place. I ask directions, I'm constantly asking, and I try and learn a few words of each language of each country I go to. So hello, thank you, goodbye, water, toilet. Those useful words and useful phrases. And this is how I travel. I don't really have a job. I just travel. I have 2 e-books. I published my first book called Seeing the World My Way in 2010, about why a blind person would want to go and see the world, and how I travel using all the senses of my body, my smell, my touch, my hearing, the different textures when I'm walking under my feet. When I'm walking up a hill or down a hill, I can detect the changing gradients. And then I published a second book in 2016 called Seeing the Americas My Way, and they're both e-books, and they're available on all e-book websites, or from my website called TonyTheTraveller.com. I'm also on social media on Facebook. Yeah, thank you.